All right. Yeah, Eddie caught me a little off guard. I was all the way in the back of the room there, so had to get my steps in here, get ready. All right, very good. Thank you, Eddie. That was great. And like the coyote thing, or coyote thing, or exactly how we say that, coyote. So coyote, all right, good. All right, you guys ready to be inspired a little bit this morning? Yeah? How many people took a picture of Eddie and shared it on social media? NoteExpo, off to a great start. Anybody? Hashtag NoteExpo. Come on, guys. All right? I can always count on these two. Awesome. All right. So as I've mentioned the last couple days, this year we're doing something new. We're going to start off with 2 TED Talk-like presentations. Then we're going to take a break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to finish up with 6 in a row. So when we were putting this together, I wanted to get some folks up here that had great stories to tell, can inspire and motivate people, and was a diversification of ideas, right? So you're going to hear 8 different styles, 8 different stories, and I've seen most of their presentations, and I think you guys are going to really be blown away. So I'm excited to announce our first Note Talk speaker, the CEO of Freedom Founders, Dr. David Phelps.
Well, good morning. I think Eddie's presentation this morning was a little bit of a setup, because you see, I am one of those coyotes. I'm a former, well, I still am, actually, I still am a dentist, but I'm licensed, but I don't carry, so I'm safe. You good? Good at that? The day was a Thursday. It was August 25th, 2004. The surgical floor, 3rd floor of Texas Children's Hospital in Houston was busy. It was bustling. There was medical personnel everywhere doing what they do, saving lives, treating kids, making people better. In the center of all this bustle, right in front of the doors that open to the surgical suite, was a gurney. There was all kinds of medical personnel around this gurney, obviously getting a patient ready to go in for surgery. There's doctors, there's nurses, there's the anesthesiologist, there's the phlebotomist, they're hooking up IV lines, EKGs. And around this group of people, around this gurney with a patient on it, there's one particular individual, a man, 40-ish, tall, obviously was not part of the medical team. Standing there, more quiet, more subdued. And on a closer look, he's got his hand extended down, and his hand is actually holding the hand of the patient. The patient is a young girl. Big brown eyes, wide, a little bit moist, lip trembling, not crying. That man was me. That young girl, my daughter, Jenna. Jenna's 12 years old. She's going in to have a liver transplant. Yeah, age 12. How's that? High-risk leukemia, chemotherapy from age 2.5 to 6, survived it. Epileptic seizures, lots of anti-seizure medication from age 8 to 12. The liver was gone. Holding her hand that day, I realized that all of my education, all of my wisdom, all of my experience, in fact, all of the money I was blessed to be able to make during my career as a dentist, none of that meant a damn thing. All I could do was hold her hand and pray. See, that day was my epiphany. That day was my wake-up call. That was the day I made a decision. I drew a line in the sand. I said, no more. Jenna was my reason why. The entrepreneur's journey is one that is not a straight shot, is it? Everybody agreed that it's a zig, it's a zag, it's a take one step forward, sometimes 2 steps back before you go forward again. That was my life, but I was always about, how could I control my life? How could I set up security for my family, right? Isn't that the first thing we think about, is how do we set up security for our family? Yet all the things I had done in my life, all the hard work I put in, all the training, the school, the education, and I didn't have what I really wanted. Was that just more money? No, more money would not buy what I wanted at that point in time. More money was not going to save my daughter. More money was not going to give me the time I wanted to spend with Jenna. See, what I needed in my life at that point in time is I needed more time. Now, money will buy time if we're intentional about it. Up to that point, I was on a hamster wheel, doing what society says we need to do, work hard. But that reason why is what set me up to make the changes in my life that ultimately changed everything for me. I'm going to give you 3 keys to freedom. What is freedom? Freedom to me is doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, and with whom you want to do it. Sounds great, doesn't it? Does it happen automatically? Is it something we're taught in school? Absolutely not. There is a sacrifice period. There's always a sacrifice period to get from point A to point B. The problem is, too many of us, and I was one of those, we sacrifice our whole life because we don't know how to get off that hamster wheel. So the first key to freedom is you've got to have a real reason why, a compelling reason why you will change what you're doing right now, even though you're hardworking. I get that. We are all hardworking. You wouldn't be here if you weren't a hard worker. But working hard is not the same as working smart. Getting out of your safe zone, getting out of your comfort zone, being willing to take some risk right now that you're afraid to take. It's like being in an eddy. And I'm not talking about eddy speed. I'm talking about eddy, E-D-D-Y. You know, in a river, there's those places where the water swirls and it just goes nowhere. That's where a lot of hardworking, well-intentioned people sit today. I don't care what your education is. I don't care what your career is. I don't care if you're in real estate, if you're active, you're passive. Too many people are in the eddy because they don't know how to get out. And it's living uncomfortably comfortable to be in that eddy. You're not drowning, but you're not getting ahead. You're not making moves forward. You're just in the eddy. You're swirling, swirling, swirling. That's where I was. Oh, people would say, well, you're a doctor, you're a dentist. Isn't everything good? No, everything was not good. Key number 2, stop living for other people's agenda. How many of you feel like that as you lived your life, you grew up, you went to school, you were doing things for other people? Anybody feel like that? Anybody all feel like that? Nobody? Everybody else is just, oh, come on. Show me the whole armpit. Seriously, thank you. Thinking back in my life now, I remember that I was always trying to figure out how to make money. You know, my parents were good parents. They didn't just give me stuff. I had to earn what I wanted. If I wanted a new bicycle, I had to earn the money to do it. How did I do it? Anybody have lemonade stands? Yep. Well, I had multiple lemonade stands. See, I got other kids to go and raid their mother's pantry and set up the stands and use their Kool-Aid, use their sugar, right? And I took the override, yes? It was all good until the health department came and shut me down. How many of you did lawn jobs? Men or women? Yeah, lawn jobs, right? Well, same thing. I was really good at selling the jobs to the neighbors, right? But I got the other kids, the other younger kids, to get their dad's lawnmowers, their gas, their oil, and do the jobs, and I got the override. It was really good until the IRS shut me down because I wasn't turning in those pesky 1099 forms. I threw newspapers, I sold greeting cards door to door. I did all that stuff, and yet I was going to school, and what were they telling me in school? What did they tell you in school? Work hard, get good grades, get scholarships, go as high as you can in the education platform, because that is your path to what? Freedom, right? Wrong. School today, with all the problems it has, one of the biggest problems is it teaches people to do what? To be workers. And being a doctor, dentist, Indian chief, lawyer, CPA, it's still just having a job. Maybe it's a well-paying job, but it's a job. It's a ball and chain, I will tell you. It's not truly being an entrepreneur. So I had to get over the fact that other people, people in society would say, how could you leave being a dentist, David Phelps? How could you do that? You spent your whole life aspiring to be that, you are that, and now you're gonna leave. Well, I decided I'm not gonna live my life for other people. So one of the things you have to be careful about is the people you surround yourself with, which is key number 3. Being an entrepreneur and getting to freedom is not a solo journey. You know, we think about John Wayne, the ultimate rugged individualist, right? John Wayne could take on the world, he could make things happen, he did it all on his back, his shoulder. And that's a great characteristic to have that work ethic. But if you try to do life by yourself, solo in a vacuum, you're only gonna get so far. Now I'm speaking to the choir because you all are here today. You all are here because you understand there's two parts to this conference, right? There's a conference here up on stage, the tactical, the informational aspect, the strategies you need, but the second part of the conference is at breaks. It's the people sitting right next to you. It's the lunches, it's the meals, it's the collaboration, it's the network that makes things happen. You know, Eddie Speed is one of the ultimate collaborators that I know in my life. He has people on his team today that he has had relationships with for over 30 years. Think about it, 30 years. Now, Eddie knows the tactics and the strategies of the note business like nobody else's business. But think where he would be today if he was not a good collaborator. I had the opportunity to work with Eddie back in 2007, just about where we are in the marketplace today, I believe, where there's going to be a turning point. There's going to be a shift. Eddie just talked about it this morning. There will be a shift. Eddie was getting ready for that shift because he sees a visionary. He sees down the road. He understands the market cycles, and he was gearing up for what did happen in 2008, 9, 10, with the downturn, the financial crash. So he was gearing up his trading desk to get ready to go again. I had the opportunity to work with him and spend time with him, and I watched as I saw the relationships that he had built over the years that he's able to call on and collaborate with, the synergy that's created there. You know, really, you have to think about relationship capital. As important as private capital is, relationship capital is also extremely important. When does the entrepreneur's journey end? I say it never ends. Because what's an end point in life until you're just ready to go? You know, people talk about retirement. Does anybody here really want to retire? How about just going from one stage to another? I think the entrepreneur is always about solving problems. We solve problems that nobody else can solve. The government can't solve, big bureaucracies can't solve. We as entrepreneurs have an advantage because we can be what? Flexible, adaptable. We can shift and move with the market cycles like nobody else. The hedge funds can't move that fast. Government can't move that fast. Other large industries can't move as fast as we can. We can weave, we can turn, we can move with the market changes. We can be adaptable. So the entrepreneur's journey never truly ends. It's an ability to be impactful through your whole life. So what are the lessons? Don't wait for someday. There's no such day in the week. You've got to start today. You've got to make changes. You've got to get outside your box. And to do that, you've got to have what? A compelling reason why. What's your reason why? What's driving you to do better, to get outside that comfort zone and create true freedom for yourself? What's your reason? If you don't have one, you're going to stay in that eddy. Number two, don't live life for other people's agendas. Don't let people guilt you into doing what they want to do or pull you down or take away your dreams or aspirations. Number three, don't live life in a vacuum. It's not a solo journey. Collaborate, find other good people. That's a study in itself, but finding good people is the key to everything in life. It takes work to do that, but to do that is the key. The good news for me is that Jenna survived that liver transplant. She is going on in school, she's catching up, she's living. The good news for me is I got to spend time with her. I get to spend time with her today because I created that freedom with intention back some 14 years ago. When I drew that line in the sand, I said, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I made a change. Was it easy? No. But making that change changed everything in my life, and I want you to think about the same thing. There's a study done by a palliative care nurse in Australia. She dealt with people, and a lot of men, that were on their last days of life, last weeks of life. And she always would have conversations with them, and one of the things they said over and over again was, I wish I had been more aggressive in pursuing my dreams. Not could I have done another deal, not that could I have made more money, not could I have had a bigger house or better cars or bigger vacations. No, I wish I'd been more aggressive in pursuing my dreams. That was the ending regret, if you will, of people that were on their last days of life. So what I'd say to you is, the greatest risk of all is doing nothing. Don't live your life with regrets. Thank you.